scenes at the Horse of the Year show. Now, with all this horsepower around, it seems like the ideal place to conduct my investigation into how much force is needed to get something started, and just importantly, how much force is needed to stop it. Now, the only trouble is, these horses aren't doing much talking. What I really need is a big, strong person to tell me how much force they're using to get something moving.
Perhaps I can be of help.
Jamie Reeves, the world's strongest man. Very handy. Jamie, are you used to pulling large weights around?
Yes, in the world's strongest man competition and the strongman competitions, we can pull barges, buses, big fire engines, ships, even aeroplanes.
Excellent. Well, I've got a dinky little carriage for you out there to pull. You don't mind, do you?
No, not at all.
Excellent. But how am I going to measure the kind of force you're exerting to get the carriage going?
Well, I've got a force meter here, so we can attach this onto my harness and attach it onto the truck, and we'll be able to measure the force.
Excellent. Let's get your harness up then.
OK.
This is an old-fashioned horse-drawn dray, and it's still used to deliver beer in London. It has a mass of 1,500 kilograms and normally takes 2 strapping Shire horses to pull it around. But today, it's just going to be Jamie.
Ready, Jamie? Go!
Now, if I convert the reading on the forceometer into metric units, I can see that Jamie needed a force of 4.5 kilonewtons. That's 4,500 newtons to start the carriage moving, but he doesn't seem to need as much to keep it moving.
Stop!
But how much force will he need to stop it?
Jamie! Awesome or what? Amazing. Now, you obviously had to exert an awful lot of force to get the carriage started.
It's always difficult starting something like this because you have to overcome friction and unbalance the forces, but once it's actually moving, it's just a constant force to keep it moving.
So to get the dray to move, Jamie had to unbalance the forces acting on it. As it starts to move, it's accelerating, or rather being accelerated by Jamie pulling with a force greater than friction. But once the carriage was moving, it became a lot easier because all he had to do to keep a constant speed was to balance the forces acting on the dray. But to slow down and stop the carriage once again required unbalanced forces.
OK, well, I've got a slightly heavier carriage for you to pull now.
Oh, great.
This lorry has a mass of 6,000 kilograms, 4 times heavier than the dray, so I guess it'll take more force to start it. And he did need a larger force to start it, a whopping 26,400 newtons. But he still needs less force to keep it moving. But to stop it, he would also need a really large force. Thank goodness for air brakes.
Jamie, that looked exhausting. You had to exert so much more force just to get the lorry to accelerate.
Yeah, I needed to use a lot of force to overcome the friction at the start.
So it takes a lot of force to get something moving. But once it's started, it's easier to keep it going.